In lesson 2.7, we're going to take a little shift in recipe. In the previous recipes, we've been working with cold process combinations that come to trace fairly fast, and the colors are layered and mixed in a very natural, organic way. In the next few recipes from here on out, we're going to make a few adjustments to our formula so that we can work with a light trace and get thin, wispy swirls into our cold process designs. While we're making changes to the recipe, we're going to demonstrate a few simple swirl techniques. Here, I'm going to show you the hanger swirl, which you may have seen a dozen times with many soap demonstrations. Now the hanger swirl is really just what it sounds like. Once you've got your soap poured, you pull a thin wire through the soap to create a pattern. The best makeshift tool used for this is a bent hanger. And yes, you can purchase a specific tool that will do the job for you, or you can use your own wire. In this case, a hanger does the job just fine. You'll want to make sure that it's bent so that there's room for the sides to clear the design. If you just stick a wire hanger into your mold in its original shape, that 45-degree angle at the sides will come into contact with your design twice, so just be aware of that. Now, hanger swirls include a variety of popular designs that you may have seen, like the popular butterfly, a rose flower, a feather, a Taiwan-like style, and all of these are done by pulling the wire through the soap batter in a certain way. Now, all of these designs take a little practice, but the first thing you need to learn is how to control the soap batter so that it's thin enough to get it poured into the mold, and then the wire will pull through the soap along to create the swirl. If the batter is too thick, the wire will do nothing as it cuts through the soap. So first, we'll start off with a recipe with a basic formula with oils that are known to take longer to trace. For a 3-pound recipe, we'll use 6.45 ounces of lye and 18.24 ounces of water. Olive oil is well known for taking a long time to trace, so we're going to make this 25% olive oil at 12 ounces. We'll then add 16.8 ounces of lard, 14.4 ounces of avocado oil, and 4.8 ounces of coconut oil. Notice that I'm staying away from some very common soap oils like heavy butters, castor oil, palm, and rice bran oil. These oils tend to thicken trace and they give us a different texture. Coconut and lard, which are in this recipe, tend to trace at a medium pace, and in the recipe we're using, this will give us a good balance. So here, I'll mix the lye water solution and set it aside to cool. The oils have been combined and allowed to cool. Both of these mixtures will be left alone until they reach room temperature. Now, you've heard me say that you'll want to allow the two parts to cool until they're within 20 degrees of each other, and this is true, but the warmer the liquids, the faster they will thicken. So in order to get the most control out of this, we'll combine them when they're at room temperature. This bar is going to be Cotton Blossom Bar. The Cotton Blossom fragrance oil has a light, clean fragrance, and it does not discolor or rice, and more importantly, it will not accelerate the trace of your recipe. And when you're creating a thin swirl design, you'll want to know what to expect from your fragrance oil. This one is from Nature's Garden, and if you go over to lesson 5.1, where I discuss fragrance oils, you can get a printable PDF of the Nature's Garden fragrance testing catalog. So this will let you review all the fragrance oils that Nature's Garden sells, and then this way you can see if it's known to accelerate in your recipe. For other oils, or for oils that aren't in the directory, then you'll need to just experiment so that you'll know what to expect beforehand. Now with this recipe, I'm going to use 4 colors: pink, blue, yellow, and white. And each one of these are going to be mixed lightly until completely emulsified. Now the goal of this project is to make sure that the trace doesn't become too thick, but don't prevent the soap from being mixed until it's completely emulsified. It's tempting to undermix the batter when you want to keep the trace thin, and if you don't get it emulsified, then it might look ready to pour. But as the soap is setting up or curing, you'll notice tiny little dots of water sweating from your loaf. And this is just the unmixed water that's starting to separate and escape. And so if this happens, you'll end up with slimy pieces that'll never quite cure right. So it's important that you get a nice balance to your mixing process. It has to be completely emulsified, but not too much so that it starts to thicken up too much for you. The titanium dioxide will go in the last part. Now these are all close to equal, only it does look in the video that the white part is larger, but it's just a larger bowl. You saw that I pre-made the micas with a few tablespoons of oil before pouring the soap batter over it. With the titanium dioxide, I usually keep a bottle made at all times because I use it often enough, and I don't like the sticky texture with everything that it comes in contact with. If you have a cup or a spoon coated in titanium dioxide from using it as a measurement tool, and then you go and put it in the dishwasher, it can end up leaving a thin coat all over all of your other dishes, and this is really a pain. Now, it won't hurt you because titanium dioxide is found in a lot of processed food like white powdered sugar, but I just don't like it. So to minimize the mess, I keep this bottle made and set aside. Now we're ready to pour, and for the design in this bar, I want to create the illusion of a little flame with a light bouncing around it. So I'm going to pour the base color of blue with a yellow right over the top, and hopefully my wispy flame will be blue with a little bit of a yellow glow. The first step to get this pattern is to pour the first 2 layers as flat as possible, and it's not too easy with the soap being so thin, so if you need a little support, then you can pour the soap onto the spatula as it's pressed up against the wall to break the weight as it falls into the mold. For the rest of the design, I'm going to try to pour slightly at an angle on either side of the mold and alternate the colors as I go, and I'll continue to do this until all the soap has been poured. Now, if you're looking to get your hands on a recipe that stays nice and thin while you're trying to make your hanger swirl creations, you're welcome to download this recipe in the members section over at thermalmermaid.com. And if you have any questions or you just want to chat about it, come on over to the Thermal Mermaid Facebook group where there are dozens of friendly soapers who are doing the exact same thing. Once this is finished, it's time to put the design into the bar. Now I know it's tempting for new soapers to want to go out and buy all the bells and whistles and accessories for your projects, but one of the reasons that a hanger works so well is that you can make it fit any mold that you have. Like this one, it measures to fit nicely in this 12-inch loaf mold. Now to create the pattern I want, I'm going to start on one side at the top and slowly push down. When I reach the bottom, I'm going to move forward just a little bit and bring the hanger back up. Now when the hanger's at the bottom position in the center of the mold, I'll give it just a little bit more of an exaggerated sweep and then I'll pull it up quicker. I want to scoop a little bit of that blue on the bottom and try and bring it upward, and then back to normal for the remaining passes until I reach the other side. And now there's nothing left to do but give the top a bit of a swirl and let this set up for 24 hours. Now because the oils are a bit softer, don't worry if yours needs longer than 24 hours to set up. It's normal for some recipes to be cut after 48 hours or even after a few days. If the soaping reveal is your favorite part of these tutorials, then don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and let me know that this is the part that you like to see the best. And don't forget, we're only in lesson 7 of a 10-part series, so make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss out on the future recipes we're about to publish, and you can get the entire collection in this tutorial. And the next day, you can see just what we have on the inside. If it turns out right, each bar should have a flame on the center of the inside. The end pieces start off with a yellow flame, but once we get further inside, we start to see our blue flame appear. Of course, each one will be a little bit different, and you can coordinate your colors in the way you imagine how a little flame should look.